Hey guys, today we have a really fun build for you. This one is a darkness build, and usually I don't really like darkness builds as they kind of detract from a team. It's not the most fun for a team to play around unless everyone plays around it. But this one I actually like because it's a darkness build, but it's also a team support, and having both of those in one build is really cool and unique. So without further ado, this is the Mastermind Monk. So from this build, we're going to go into the Mastermind Rogue in order to get kind of the support side. And then for the darkness side of this build, instead of going Warlock, we're actually going to go into Monk, specifically the Shadow Monk. So for this build, the first thing to discuss is kind of our playstyle. We are going to be a darkness playstyle, and then we're also going to have support on top of that. We're going to be using ranged attacks to get advantage in our darkness, and then we're going to be trying to compound that advantage while supporting our team. The first thing that goes towards us doing this is our lineage. We are going to go into the half-elf, specifically the drow magic variant. Now, the half-elf gives us great stats, the +2/+1/+1 instead of the normal +2/+1. That's really great, especially for this build as we are pretty stat dependent, so just having that extra stat really helps. On top of that, we get our Drow Magic Racial ability, which lets us cast Darkness once per day for free once we reach 5th level. And it also gives us the Fairy Fire spell once a day after 3rd level. Fairy Fire, not the best, we're mainly here for the Darkness, but it is still pretty good to fill in, especially in some combats where Darkness isn't ideal and would get in the way of our team. As for our stats, we're going to go primarily into Dexterity, secondarily into Constitution, and tertiarily into Wisdom. These stats are going to be great for what we're going into for our leveling. Getting into our level by level breakdown specifically, we have Shadow Monk from 1 to 6, we have Mastermind Rogue from 7 to 10, and then we have Monk after that. Now in our first 2 levels of Monk, we don't have a ton going on. The one main call out is Dedicated Weapon. Dedicated Weapon allows us to pick one weapon that usually can't be a Monk weapon, and we can make it into a Monk weapon. For us, this is specifically going to be the short bow. We can't use the long bow because of its heavy property, so short bow is the best we get as just a good range, solid damage. When we hit level 3 in Monk, we pick up Shadow Monk, and this gives us Shadow Arts. Now, Shadow Arts is great. It gives us a lot of versatility. The main thing it gives us is Darkness, which is great, and we're going to begin capitalizing on that in this build. It also gives us kind of a niche option against spellcasters in Silence. It also gives us kind of Dark Vision, which is low-key useless, but that's fine. And then the other one it gives us is Pass Without Trace. Now, Pass Without Trace in this build is actually really good, because not only are we really good at Darkness, Pass Without Trace, but with our combination of Monk and Rogue, makes us really stealthy, and we can use it not just for us, but for our entire team. So Pass Without Trace becomes incredibly great for infiltration or anything of that sort, which is a really good out of combat thing that this build can do. Now at level 4 in Monk, we are going to pick up the classic Eldritch Adept Devil's Sight invocation. Now this lets us see through our own darkness, meaning we can now start capitalizing on our own darkness, where beforehand it would have just gotten in the way really. And at level 4, we can cast 2 darknesses per day using our key points, 1 more when we hit 5th level from our Drow magic. And a really great thing about this is we also have key fueled attacks. So on the turn that we cast Darkness, we can still use a bonus action to make an attack because we spent key on that turn. Great synergy, works out really well for us, and keeps working out even better once we get Rogue, so we can make sure to get our sneak attack off every turn, even when we're casting Darkness to get our setup turn. Level 5 is a standard extra attack, great for just leveling up our damage. Level 6, we get Shadow Step, which first increases our mobility a ton. Previously, we could have done Step of the Wind, but that costs key points, which we really want to save for extra casts of Darkness. So having this Shadow Step allows us to have these teleports, which are kind of better than just normal movement. And it's a key free option, so it really empowers that playstyle of really high mobility assassin playstyle. At this level, we also get Focused Aim, and the reason Focused Aim is so great is because if we are missing an attack, we can dump key into it, which allows us to then get our key fueled attacks, and it's a great use of bonus action economy if we have nothing else to do with it. Now, after level 6 in Monk, we are going to start going into Rogue. Rogue 1 gives us expertises. The main one I want to pick up is in Stealth. Like I said, our Stealth is really good, just being a dex build with Pass Without Trace. This makes it that 1 notch up, as we are getting so much more stealthy just from that expertise. After that, at Rogue 2, we get Cunning Action, which is kind of like Shadow Step, but Shadow Step is better unless we are in daylight, so it kind of helps mitigate some of the weaknesses of Shadow Step. Really cool synergy, but I honestly think it's just kind of we use it when Shadow Step doesn't work. The one thing Cunning Action does better than Shadow Step is it gives us the bonus action Hide, which is great for out of combat or if we're in combat and our darkness goes down for some reason, it allows us to still get advantage on attacks. It allows us to still be defensive. It's just a great tool. Then at level 3 in Rogue, we pick up the Mastermind subclass. Now the main reason we're in Mastermind is for our support option, and that is going to be the Mastermind Master of Tactics. Now what Master of Tactics allows us to do is use the help action from a range of 30 feet and as a bonus action. Now this is especially great in darkness because our target doesn't have to see us. We just have to be within 30 feet of a target and they have to see or hear us. So this can still function in darkness, and it allows us to give our allies advantage using our bonus action. This is especially great if we don't have something to do with our bonus action, or if our allies are really big hitters, like other rogues, paladins, great weapon masters, sharpshooters, etc. It really sets up our allies and is a great support feature, especially to offset kind of the disabling of darkness. So I think some normal turns would be set up darkness, bonus action attack. Every turn after that would be action attack and then bonus action help. Or if we aren't able to get our sneak attack off in a turn, we then go for the bonus action attack for ourselves. Either way, we put out a lot of damage and we have a great support feature, which is just really good in combat, especially when we want to conserve those key points rather than just go all out in one fight. The other thing Mastermind gives us at this level is Master of Intrigue. This is really just a great out of combat feature. It's really flavorful. It's really fun. I really like this feature. I think it's a ton of fun and it's a great out of combat buff to rogues in just such a cool way. Now at Rogue 4, we're going to pick up a half feat. This is going to ideally round out our dexterity, but has a lot of options as we're going to pick up Elven Accuracy. With the Darkness build, we already have advantage so often that picking up that extra die when we roll advantage is really awesome for fishing for crits, which is even better because we're a rogue already and get extra damage on our sneak attacks. But it's also just great for just really consistent damage. Really awesome. And after that 4th level in Rogue, we're just going to go back into Monk. This scales our Monk die. It gives us more key points to keep doing what we're doing better. Overall, this build stays a lot on the same core of just being a great darkness build that has options to support its allies, has options to deal a lot of damage, and just has a ton of mobility and just has a ton of out of combat fun and flavor. I really like this build. It's really simple, it's really straightforward, but it's one of my favorites that I've seen that is a darkness build. As for flavor on this build, I would take the term Shadow Leader and make it really come to life. I would be the leader in the background of the party, guiding things from the shadows, making decisions, but nobody knows that you are in charge. And I think personifying that in combat by having this massive darkness but still leading your team and guiding them through your help actions, I really like that combo. I think it's just a fun flavor that can have a really striking, distinct personality for this fun Monk Rogue combination. But let me know what you guys would do with the flavor. I'm really excited about this one and excited to hear what you guys think of it too. That's all for this one, and we'll catch you on the next one.